Hello and welcome. I'm Charles Aite. To our first story, economist and dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor John Gachi, is warning that government's plan to slap some taxes on electronic transactions could have a negative effect on remittance flow. According to him, even though such transactions, especially mobile money, has grown over the past years, any revenue mobilization agenda targeted at the sector without thorough cost-benefit analysis could erode the gains made so far. He spoke at the 11th Continuing Professional Development and Induction Ceremony of the Association of Certified Chartered Economists organized here in Accra.
It depends on how the users of electronic platforms are classified. If they are classified as having inelastic consumption or use of these apps, then their withdrawal will be very limited, and government will end up getting the expected revenue that it wants to get. And I believe that's the reason why government has imposed this particular levy, because we have become so used to this transaction. Therefore, we are not going to stop using the transaction. What will happen in reality is that people will respond within a short period of time, and they'll become used to it and continue to use the system. But there is some pressure going to be on those who are very sensitive to remittances, to these tasks. They may limit how much they send to their loved ones. They can stagger it. So those developments will come on. But the full effect will come to bear when the task becomes operational. But it is something that we are tasking the members who have been inducted to date, that there is now available data. The population and housing census data have been released. It has something to do with remittances, both internal remittances and external remittances. And we need to start simulating to see what effect that it will have for the purposes of taxation.
Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament says it will kick against the introduction of the new tax on electronic transactions.
Seeking to introduce e-levy or e-transaction levy, call it a mobile phone tax or Momo tax. We stand united collectively against it, and we would not support government. We would not cooperate with government, because that will further deepen the suffering of the Ghanaian people. The introduction of that tax handle is simply opportunistic. The number of mobile subscribers and the use of digital platform globally grew up to 68 billion in 2020. And for our purposes, the portfolio grew from 257 billion to 500 billion, largely because of COVID. So you don't have a lazy, convenient way of taxing the consequence of COVID. So people decided to use digital platform because of COVID. We needed to do social distancing. Government is turning around to just take advantage of COVID to introduce what they call a Momo tax. Take, for instance, if you chose to pay a medical bill to a doctor by Momo, it means that it will be taxed. There is the danger of you being taxed 7-10 times a day, depending upon how much transfer or remittance you do in a day. So the incidence of double taxation is very grave and it's unavoidable. So it means that if you transacted 100 businesses 100 times in a day on an electronic platform, you will pay that tax 100 times.
We'll still stay on the e-levy because the finance minister says government will find a way to win the cooperation of the minority on this matter. In an interview with JoyNews, Maxwell Mcbut on the sidelines of the ongoing vote affair, he says Ghana cannot continue to do things the same way.
So this historic 10 billion intervention that we have had, and finding ways for burden sharing. So we recognize the problems of youth unemployment, the problem of growth, the problem of debt, and we as a nation decide to burden share to break this intractable problem. So it's very exciting seeing the support that he has garnered and seeing some of the entrepreneurs here who are here. And it gives me hope that where we are going with the e-levy is the right way to do that.
It's interesting that you mentioned the e-levy. There are already concerns out there that
there
the
e-levy
amounts to double taxation and inimical to entrepreneurship. That
well, if you look at your 2.2 million youth in 1960 to 10.8 million youth, it cannot be that we do things as we do them always. And I think we all need to stretch our minds as to what we want to curtail. The indignity of not having a job, I think, should really manage how the world economy is moving into more of an e-line economy. The old tax handles might not be different. And as you bring these things on, you tweak them with time. But the clarity of understanding that we cannot continue to have this youth problem. We cannot continue to not have our roads built. We cannot continue to not look at our debt.
That was the finance minister there interacting with Maxwell Mcbut. Still on taxes, a law lecturer is calling for effective policies to regulate the tax system in the informal sector. According to Clara Berry-Kasati, most micro, small and medium-scale enterprises are overtaxed, hence their non-compliance. She, however, says majority of the players in the informal sector do not have a problem parting with money, but lack of understanding of how the tax system operates remains the matter. She was speaking at the launch of a research paper by the Ghana Center for Democratic Development. The Ghana Center for Democratic Development, in collaboration with the GIZ, has unveiled findings from a survey on micro, small and medium enterprises to understand and document the experiences of MSMEs in accessing justice and public services. Speaking at the launch, law lecturer Clara Kasati urged government to implement policies to regulate the tax system in the informal sector.
I always make the joke in my tax class that Ghanaians don't seem to have a problem paying taxes. If you look at the culture, they sow seed all the time. They give first collection, they give second collection. So if you look, Ghanaians don't seem to have a problem parting with money. So that if they understood the tax structure well and believed that it was fair, I believe that they would be good corporate citizens. I think we all agree that we need to tailor the policies. One, of course, the size of the businesses, and then certainly, as is evident from the findings, to the gender. It means that women-owned businesses are more in need of information and training on the business processes, and probably more encouragement and education on the dangers of entrusting the paperwork to someone else or not following up on the paperwork.
The research paper, dubbed Access to Justice and Public Services, Experiences of MSMEs in Ghana, was authored by Mavis Zupek-Domi and Daniel Ama-Ato. According to Mavis, MSMEs in Ghana do not grow, hence the need for the findings to be taken seriously.
These findings are very telling and as well as timely because of the budget and reading the budget as well as the after policy guide, trade guide. So it's timely for policymakers as well as local assemblies to look into. And the worrying part of it is the fact that MSMEs are not growing. So that means we have to look into that. And when you look at some of their challenges, they mentioned capital as well. And when you look at what do they want government to do, they are very much particular about reduction in interest on loans and also capacity building around management of businesses and financial management. So that tells you, that easily tells you why MSMEs are not growing, and to be good to look into this.
Now, the Energy Ministry has expressed commitment to civilized power tariffs in the country. To this end, it has hinted at plans to engage the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PLC, on the establishment of an ideal tariff structure. The Sector Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Pempe, spoke at the 5th Ghana Energy Awards ceremony held in Accra.
There's a pilot going on in Kumasi where we have smart street lighting, where we can monitor the street lights, and it's solar as well, from Accra to see which one is going off and which one is coming. Hopefully, we will have smart street lights ongoing, and every street light will be changed. The era when people change street lights to face their compound in their various homes, I hope will be a thing of the past. At the Ministry of Energy, we will continue to collaborate with the relevant stakeholders to ensure that this critical sector employs more innovative solutions to drive the President's industrialization agenda in the most effective way. Two things that are coming up. We in the energy sector are collaborating with PURC for tariff rationalization. Everybody, when he hears the name of PURC, thinks it should be tariff increases, tariff increases, tariff increases. But an unexamined life is not worth living. And we hope PURC will take and re-look and re-examine their tariff structure to provide a better regulatory service to the energy sector in the country. Also, I know some are here, the independent power producers. I do know for a fact that charges for goods and services in Ghana is contrary to the Foreign Exchange Transaction Act of Bank of Ghana 2006. So we'll be coming back at you to look at your tariffs and your energy charges to reflect in cedis, because that's the only currency we have, and we adore, and we have to protect.
Now, the 5th Ghana Energy Awards honored former Presidents John Agyekum Kufuor as well as the late Jerry John Rawlings with Lifetime Achievement Awards. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive of the VRA, Emmanuel Dakwa, who emerged the Mill Energy Personality of the Year, revealed to Joy Business his outfit is working towards a long-term financial sustainability of the sector following the challenges bedeviling it.
The outlook is not going to be any different. Over the last 4 years, we've stabilized power, to use your own word. We've stabilized the supply of power. I think it will continue to be so. There may be the challenges with the value chain. Maybe Gridco may have a difficulty, we may have a difficulty sometime, maybe Ghana Gas may have a difficulty, but those will be small matters compared to what people usually call doomsday. So I think that we've got to a point where we've got the electricity supply delivery in check. It's good, we'll continue to maintain it. Financial challenges will be there. It's something that we are going to continue to live with. That's why we are working with the Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Finance to deal with the financial issues. The real key thing to the success of the sector, and I speak for the sector in this case, is the long-term financial sustainability of the sector. That's what we are all looking forward to. And that's what we are working with government to try and resolve.
Emmanuel Dakwa, the CEO of VRA there. Let's now talk digitalization, because the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has called for a closer look at Ghana's innovations and digital transformation journey, so as to ensure inclusive development. Speaking at the launch of the Ghana Digital Innovation Week, the Vice President remarked that nurturing Ghana's innovation ecosystem and connecting it across Africa and the rest of the world will deepen the country's edge as a tech and innovation hub in the sub-region.
It is through an open, inclusive, and participatory process where the voices of all can be heard in crafting Ghana's digital future and unleash the true potential that innovation holds. As I outlined in my lecture at Ashesi University a few weeks ago, government is committed to transforming Ghana through digitalization. A vibrant modern Ghana can only be built if strong institutions and systems are in place. Without these, this nation will be stuck in a vicious cycle of rhetoric and underdevelopment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that the COVID-19 pandemic presented many challenges. Empirical evidence indicates that it slowed down economic growth and stalled development of many economies, including Ghana. But it also taught us many lessons. One major lesson is that to rebuild our post-pandemic economy, there is an urgent need of investing in innovative technology to leapfrog the obstacles to inclusive development. There is perhaps no more important development revolution facing us now than the fast approaching digitization and leveraging of technology to develop our country. The opportunities to leverage technology for accelerated and inclusive development had never been so tangible. This is the time to take a look at our innovations and the digital transformation journey and feed our reflections and ambitions into a shared vision.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Still to come in the bulletin, post-2022 budget analysis. We get the thoughts of the banking community on the financial statement's potential to stimulate growth in the banking sector and the economy as a whole. Do stay with us for that. And welcome back from the break. As we continue the debate on the 2022 budget and economic policies of government, the banking community have also been expressing their thoughts on the potential of the budget to support banking sector growth and economy as a whole. Joining us on Zoom to explore some of these thoughts is the head of business strategy at Universal Merchant Bank, Roland Akafia. Roland, we're grateful that you could join us. What do you make of the budget so far? Tell us your thoughts.
Thank you very much. I think to appreciate this 2022 budget, which is themed Building a Sustainable Entrepreneur Nation, Fiscal Consolidation and Job Creation, you need to look back at the previous two budgets that is preceding this. So in 2019, we were on course to achieve 6% growth rate. Then, boom, we had COVID coming in to disrupt everything. You had people losing jobs. Basically, the economy was came to a halt. And then we were trying to figure out this new thing. And so the government came in for the 2020 budget. The government tried to put the economy back on track. So we had a budget which was themed looking at consolidation the gains for growth and prosperity for all, which was based on basically 8 pillars. And those 8 pillars we're looking at domestic revenue mobilization, business regulatory, and basically trying to get us to get used to the new normal. And then we managed to go through 2020, and then 2021, the budget that came was team economic revitalization. Also, we're trying to consolidate all the gain we've made post-COVID and stuff. So that led to the current one. The current one is looking at how we need to build our economy. And this is basically, you look at the budget, is looking at manufacturing, is looking at business, is looking at how we can do most of the things that we bring in from outside in-house.
All right. So Roland, even as you detail the chronology of the budget and its impact on the sector, there are key things in this particular budget, which of course is no, ordinary budget. We're talking about the 1.75% e-levies, which the Bankers Association has raised issues around, and of course other matters regarding taxation as well. Where do you sit as, a player in this industry when it comes to the opportunities and challenges that you can, maximize in this budget?
Right. So, on the issue about the e-levies, for us, we are law-abiding company in Ghana. So we've read the budget, we've analyzed all the various taxes, especially the e-levy you mentioned, and then the other tariffs. So we're working through the regulator and the Bankers Association, and then whatever we all come up with, we're going to comply. And then you also talk about the opportunities. So there are so many opportunities that actually align with our strategy. One of our strategic pillars going forward is SME, growing our SME portfolio.
All right.
And we've done a lot in that regard. And so for us, this budget is sort of like a blessing for us because you look at issues, for instance, the development bank, which is going to make funds available for medium and long-term borrowing to banks. They are going to partner because it's not a commercial bank, so they are partnering with commercial banks to do this. And we are one of the banks, but we are also talking to the ministry and then the development bank. We're talking about the tax relief, 2-year tax relief for the textile manufacturers. You're looking at agribusiness. You're looking at SME, the young entrepreneurs. All those things are opportunities. Of course, 1D1F, everybody knows in this country that we're one of the commercial banks that were leading this policy. So we've seen a lot of opportunities, especially in entrepreneurship and SME, which aligns with our strategy as well. So we think this is a budget that there are a lot of opportunities, and the 5.8 growth that is estimated, we think is possible. We can achieve that.
Roland, we're grateful that you could join us with your input, the very input of UNB and how you align yourself with the 2022 budget. Many thanks once again for making a point to share your submissions with us. Well, away from that particular interaction with Roland Akafia of UNB, the Vice President of Imani Africa, Salom Brantier, is calling on government to sanitize the entrepreneurial ecosystem to enable startups to fully execute their initiatives. According to him, support schemes have been initiated by government to help micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, yet there is little or no proof of entrepreneurs becoming successful. Speaking at the launch of the Regional Entrepreneurship Freedom Index report, Mr. Brantier indicated that government needs to ensure that regulatory bodies focus on their respective mandate.
Africa's Center for Entrepreneurship and Youth Empowerment, in collaboration with Atlas Network, launched the report, Regional Entrepreneurship Freedom Index Report. The research revealed that the ecosystem is not friendly for the survival of entrepreneurs. Here's Vice President of Imani Africa, Salom Brantier's advice to government.
There is a very erroneous perception that once you are an entrepreneur, you are a rich person or you have money to waste. So if anybody gets up and goes to, let's say, the Registrar General to register a business, the first attitude is bring money. Hey, who will scout? Nobody is asking what are your core business mandates, what do you intend to achieve? That focus is not there because we have created an economy unconsciously which is run only by the largest of governments. But then the point is, have they even as entrepreneurs what they need? When the right ingredients are put together, the public and the private can have both motivations or outcomes well sorted out in a way that enhances the ecosystem in a particular market. So it isn't just about the money, but it's also just about the necessary ingredients that come together to create strong, resilient companies.
Chief Executive of Africa Center for Entrepreneurship and Youth Empowerment, Emmanuel Akwa, stated that the report shows that every region has its dynamics and requires different approaches by government to support entrepreneurs.
When you look at the indices that we are using, that's about 10 of them. Every region has its own, dynamics when it comes to the very things that we realized on the ground. There are some regions that we think government should limit its interference when it comes to, trying to support entrepreneurs. For example, it would interest you to know that when you look at the Ashanti region, you realize that the entrepreneurs, or the outcome of, what we discuss with entrepreneurs is that they receive a number of support from governments, but the entrepreneurs do not benefit. So they.
Well, and these have been the top business stories that we run you by on the marketplace. But for more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Charles Aitib. Let's do same tomorrow. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.